In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight, and sitting across from me is the one and only Cash Kraus. Cash, how you doing this fine day?
Doing pretty good. Another TV Tuesday, but we're on a time limit here. We got a storm coming.
That's what a storm is a brewing.
Big storm brewing
They're
here in the
saying it's,
hometown.
Estimated to kill at least 11,000 people at this moment in time.
It's our Hurricane Harvey.
Yeah.
Is what they are comparing
bunker
it
down. The electricity will be off.
So we're down here in the basement,
in the bunker,
deep underground, where
might have to run on a generator here the second half of this podcast.
But we got Jennies.
We do.
We always got the Jennies.
We come prepared. Okay.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
thought of everything in this place.
Technically, we could survive
in an apocalypse.
A Russian nuclear blast.
We could.
Under this base,
Yes.
under this bunker.
Absolutely.
The walls are 3 feet thick steel.
It's steel concrete, absolutely.
Yeah,
steel and concrete.
Steel and
combined.
concrete. They somehow managed to mix the two.
I don't know how you do it. It's really hard to do it.
It's not easy.
It's not.
It's not easy.
But it's called great craftsmanship.
Oh, absolutely.
That's called, so.
Yeah. It's called American made.
American made.
No, actually, we get our steel from China.
We do.
They
Along
have
with
the best
everything
steel.
else.
Even the concrete as well.
Yep.
So nothing is. And that's how you know it's good, because it's un-American made.
And our masks. We get our masks from China.
Yeah, because America's just not making them.
We don't produce enough things. We just outsource that.
So keep that in mind while we're doing our TV Tuesday podcast.
And pray for us.
Yes,
because
pray.
we may not make it.
And if you hear
today.
some shingles being torn off the roof or children screaming in the background, just know that we are in a hurricane, a level 4.
We are.
And we've never had conditions like this before in Washington.
Have not. People are terrified.
Because it's usually pretty tame, but people are very terrified. They gave us a small window for the storm, though.
They did. They said between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. our time. So we're like,
if you're going to have power out, it's going to be right between that time.
It will be.
No time before or after.
Yeah. You know, at least they're right there. They know. Right to the point.
Which is usually not the case of the public works here in any state. Yeah, so we are good.
We started.
We're right back where we started. We're doing Umbrella Academy Season 2, Part 1.
Yes, which is episodes 1 through 5.
Yes, so we did. If you haven't gone and watch it yet, go back, get your fucking life together.
Yes,
go back
first off,
and watch our Part 1
and Part 2
of Season 1
of
Umbrella Academy, because we dive deep into it.
Oh, we love our TV Tuesday recaps.
Absolutely, and I am excited because this is a newer TV Tuesday recap. This was just released. Season 2 of Umbrella Academy was just released July 31st. That's a pretty good day, too, because that's this old dog's birthday.
I was going to say, that date seems pretty familiar.
It's popped up a lot.
It has.
A lot. But yeah, so we are diving deep into it. If we will do a short little relapse of how season 1 ended. Mm-hmm. World ended. That's it.
Yes, it did.
World ended.
The moon was struck. Vanya.
Moon was struck. Giant meteor coming down. You know, that old chestnut. Mm-hmm. That's always coming.
And luckily for 5, he was able to use his powers to everyone into some sort of different time dimension.
Yeah, but unfortunately for the Academy, 5... It's tough to do. It's tough to send 5 different people back.
It is. And to do it all at the same time period.
People don't give 5 enough credit for doing that, because it's mostly just yelling at him for doing things wrong.
It's a tall order.
They have no idea how difficult it is. So like you said, the world ends. Giant piece of the moon came down, destroyed Earth, killed billions of people. Billions with a B, a big B.
Yeah, it was a full-blown apocalypse.
Yes, and basically they went back in time, and this is how season 2 starts, is they all are scattered throughout the beautiful
1960s.
American 19... And is there any time more peaceful in America than the 1960s?
Yes, many other decades. I would say this is the most tumultuous times in American history. One of them.
Well, the 1960s and the 1860s, pretty bad times.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty bad times,
Pretty
I
bad
would say.
times.
But, yeah, 1960s, it's not great.
No.
Well,
especially where they're at, too.
It's okay. 1960s are okay as long as you're white.
Fair-skinned, yes.
Not a woman.
Right, not a woman either.
Not a homosexual.
Right, can't be a homosexual. Can't be trans.
Not of any kind of mental depression,
Right.
bipolar.
Can't be any of those.
Can't be any of those. And what else am I missing? Is there any other cutoff?
Well, there's a
just be white and be a man.
Yeah.
And have no other problems or any other kind of
And you're set. You're good to go.
And you're good to go.
But anyone else?
You'll probably be president. They'll probably nominate you. But yeah, for anyone else, it is
a terrible time.
Rough time.
Yes.
And it's what we learn, especially for Allison, who's obviously black, and Klaus, who's gay.
Yep.
And pretty much anyone. Luther, who's half ape man, which
they don't treat him right either. You can be half
unfortunately
ape.
about being part ape man is there's not a time you can go back to where people
Where people are understanding.
with open arms bring you into their
True.
culture.
Except Jack Ruby. That guy, he found use out of him.
Well, if anyone is gonna say, yeah, he's okay, it's gonna be fucking
gangster Jack Ruby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's a little crazy himself.
Yeah, I would say so.
But yeah, and Vanya, who's a woman and lesbian.
She is.
Which
and
is
I had
a
a
tough
feeling.
sell.
I had a feeling before season 2 started that they were going to go that route because I believe Ellen Page in real life is gay.
Of course, yeah. Well, that's why I was kind of surprised in the first season. I thought her character was always gay.
Yeah, that's what I figured too.
You know, it never. She just dresses like Ellen.
Yeah,
and that is that's your red flag.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, she is. I knew as soon as it started with the farm mom, like, oh,
and the family, you're like,
sexy.
okay,
Yeah, that's, something's gonna happen
but,
here.
You know, the dad was immediately a douche canoe, so you're like, okay.
And the mom immediately loved her.
Had a very soft spot.
Yeah,
for,
absolutely. All right.
Vanya.
So episode 1, we're just gonna dive right into it. It's
Let's do
called
it.
Right Back Where We Started. Fitting. It's very fitting. Again, 5 travels the time. It goes all shitty on them. They travel back, or at first it's 5 travels back to 1963, and he travels back, and it's again, it's the fucking end times.
And this was an awesome opening scene.
Yeah,
this was one of my favorites.
Fighting those damn Soviets.
Those fucking Soviets. Those damn commies.
Man, they could just they just land on U.S. territory so easily.
Yeah, really easily. Almost alarmingly easily, where you're like, what's going on here?
In these movies, yeah, it should be scary for
It should
us. But yeah, so 5 goes back to 1963, November 25th, and right when he goes back, he sees all the people of the academy, you know, his brother and sister.
Yep.
They're all fighting off the Soviets, and they're all like peak superpowers
power.
at this point.
Yeah.
Luther, like, he's like fucking taking missiles to the back. Vanya is like
just superpower,
superpowering everything. She's getting shot and shit, and Klaus is rising up like dead soldiers, which is awesome. So they're peak performance at this point.
They are.
But then they get wiped out by a nuke. Because, you know, you could be
as strong as you want and as powerful as you want, but a nuke will decimate you.
Absolutely.
10 times out of 10.
Absolutely. So yeah, the world's destroyed by the Soviets. Classic because it's the 60s. Can't be Nazis because it's the 60s. So Soviets are the big bad guys in this one. And pretty much this first episode is seeing where everyone got dropped off.
Yeah.
So,
well, then Hazel shows up, too.
And
with
he's
5.
an old man
He's
now.
an old man. And he's like, hey, 5, you got to save the world. He slips something in his pocket. We don't know. And then Hazel gets lit up by these Swedish
Yes,
assassins.
exactly. We get introduced to our new bad guys of the season.
Which I like. I like
Swedes.
these guys.
Oh, yeah,
they're fun.
dude.
It's a fun group of brothers.
Well, it's a real ABBA, like an ABBA cover band. They're very
it is.
Swedish. They're scary, I guess.
They are scary in the very quiet, menacing way.
I guess there's something is scary about Swedish people.
I
never
think it's
realized
just the blue eyes, the blonde, but yet they're killing machines.
Yeah, it's the fact that they were
Hitler's.
Hitler's like go-to race. Like he
Right.
based everything off of their blonde and blue eyes. Maybe that's the creepiness about him, because there's
think
something off-putting about him. But yeah, 3 Swedish brothers, I guess, time travelers. But they go back and they're part of the, what's it called?
What's called
The commission.
The commission.
Yeah, the Swedes are part of the commission. They go back and they're trying to kill 5. But like you said, Hazel protects them. Hazel sends him back in, or Hazel just gives him a tape,
Right.
and sends him off. You know, they don't go back in time because I guess he can at this point. So that's what 5's dealing with. Diego is currently in a mental institution.
Yep. Luther, as
course,
we
it didn't
brought
take-
up earlier,
didn't
is
take long.
No.
For Diego to get there.
Well, yeah,
It's
Luther
the
is the
60s.
bodyguard for Jack Ruby. Too.
Yeah, he's bodyguard. He also fights in underground fight tournament. Of course, he's the big winner. 'cause
Diego
he's
sounds
half-
a little crazy. He wants to stop the assassination of John F. Kennedy, which has not happened yet.
which is not good for the 60s because they're looking for any reason.
To lock you up.
Like,
And shock therapy
you're gay?
and all this crazy shit.
that's
Yeah.
going right to the asylum. Yeah. You know
You
what?
ever heard a thing called shock therapy?
You know what helps gay
Waterboarding?
people? Waterboarding.
Waterboarding,
Nothing's
yes.
going to make you want to be with a woman more
Or-
than being waterboarded.
Just
yeah,
gay
absolutely.
conversion camps, right? I mean,
Exactly. Pretty much they're sending anyone.
Yeah, they are.
Anyone to these.
anyone they got a problem with.
Yeah. You just, you get too depressed and you don't want to work. That's a fucking insane asylum trip. Anything. So so that's where Diego's dealing with. And he's the craziest one of the bunch, so there's no hope that he's ever going to get out on his own.
No, because he
On
just
his own
can't-
free will.
Knowing Diego, he's the stubborn guy who just can't let shit go.
Yeah,
He's just
exactly.
always got to be right no matter what.
And
he
he's
is
like
the depressing
he's like the
Batman.
prototype of the 60s hippie crazy guy.
Yeah,
saying the end is
absolutely.
coming, telling everyone that JFK is going to get assassinated.
We've heard it all before.
It's
pal.
classic. So yeah, that's where Diego's at. Allison she got sent back earlier, so she's married to a civil rights activist, of course,
Yep.
named
Named
Ray.
Ray.
And they're pretty much just they're just planning sit-ins, what civil rights
Peaceful
activists were doing in the
protesting.
60s, exactly. And Klaus, though, is the funnest, and
It is great.
So far, my favorite part of season 2.
Yeah,
is Klaus's
absolutely.
arc of he came back. Did Klaus come back earlier than everyone? I'm pretty sure he came back in
He
1960.
came back pretty early. Yeah.
He came back in 1960, and he started a cult. Classic. It's
Classic.
perfect. It's perfect
It
for
is so
Klaus's
Klaus.
character.
Yeah, it's so Klaus. You
And
know, the hello, goodbye
He calls them
on his
Destiny's
hands.
children.
Oh gosh.
So it's and he pretty much just uses song lyrics of the current time to get people really rich. It's pretty much
Marilyn Manson.
not
Or,
not Charles Manson,
Charles
not
Manson,
Marilyn Manson.
Well,
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson was around this time. She was actually sleeping with John F.
No, you're thinking Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Manson is
No, Marilyn Manson
the
is the-
singer.
Whew, okay, here we go. Well,
Man, you had to go
let's just
through
restart
some,
this. Yeah.
some
Marilyn Monroe, yeah.
some mental
I
gymnastics to get there.
did. I did. Yeah.
You mispronounced 3 different names just to get to the correct one.
Oh, that's rough. That is
Yes.
rough.
So I can't even remember what we're talking about because
Okay.
we had to
So
dive
Klaus-
so deep into that.
So Klaus started a cult.
Yes, it's
and now we're on
it's
Vanya.
Charles Manson where he's
Yeah, it is.
he's taking advantage of rich old people.
Yes, he is.
That see him as this young kind of army vet.
And they're very claustrophobic. They have to be around him.
Yeah,
and,
and of course he can tell them the
constantly-
future because he's
He's
from the
from the
future.
future,
But
which helps.
It's perfect for him because he becomes this really, really powerful cultist.
Yes,
He's
does.
got hundreds of followers, and they're powerful followers too because they eventually help him get out of jail. At
Oh,
one
they
point.
help him
So
with
it
a lot of things.
So it shows you how powerful he is. But yeah, and that's pretty much how it ends. Oh, it ends with Diego escaping the asylum with a new character, Lila, who we don't know who she is yet, but
Right.
she's sketchy.
Mhm.
Super sketchy. She's also crazy
Immediately.
because she's in the asylum.
With Diego.
But yeah, they escape, and they escape because the Swedish men come after him. And that's pretty much how the first episode ends, correct?
Yep.
Episode 2, the Frankel footage. So this is 3 months after being after 5 first dropping down and being taken by Hazel or whatever, or given the tape. And the handler returns. Remember her? She got shot
This
in the
episode
head.
kind of focuses more back on the handler and
Yeah, which
her
I liked.
situation. Yeah,
I liked
liked
them
it.
going in, and I liked the guy that's in charge, the fish head,
AJ?
AJ.
Yeah.
I liked him a lot too. Yeah, I mean, not because he was cool, but just because the character itself is cool. You know?
Yeah, it is.
Talking fish.
Talk about unique. That's just crazy.
Yeah, I like
That's
it
a
a
crazy concept.
But and Vanya, who's living with Carl and Sissy on a farm.
Yep.
Vanya has no recollection. Like she has.
She has amnesia.
Of course, that's so classic in
Of
television.
course. I mean, when you're trying to end the world and you get sent
I've
to a
never
new time,
met a single person in my life that's had amnesia, but 1 in 5 people on television have gotten
have
it.
amnesia at some point.
It's such
incredible.
a common. It's like
astounding.
the common cold in television.
Well, I think it's the easiest route to go. Too.
Yeah,
I mean,
obviously,
you know.
yeah.
I mean, where are you going to take Vanya? You know, until she discovers
I get it, but
herself.
it's so classic and it's so vague. Like amnesia is never like that, where it's like you just forget everything.
Right.
It's like just short term you forget something. It's never that specific of like the last 3 months she just forgets. But anyway, so she's living on this. She's taking care of like this kid. He's got like autism or something like that. And she's living with Sissy and Carl is like your typical 1960s man.
Yes, he is.
Trying to be, you know, the breadwinner and whatnot. And he's an alcoholic, of course.
And he's an alcoholic, and he has like he just can't pick up a sign, a signal, nothing.
Yeah, he's
just an idiot.
He has no idea that his wife is cheating on him with the live-in.
The live-in girl that they
yeah,
picked up on the
that
road.
They just randomly picked up and have no memory who
And
she
clearly
is.
your wife is just not interested in you. Whenever you try to put your hands on her in the kitchen, she feels like,
Yeah,
you know, like
and clearly
a slime
she's
ball's touching her,
obviously into Vanya, or where she like,
giving her the eye all the time.
well, and she can't even go a day if Vanya's gone. They're in complete panic mode.
The
Kids freaking out.
The kids
So
are gonna go
it should
kill
be a red
themselves.
flag, but
It's-
you can only not see these red flags if
In
you're
the 60s.
constantly drunk.
Yes.
Yeah,
and if you're in the 60s.
yeah, in the 60s, you couldn't even fucking fathom your wife being a lesbian.
Never. That's like the last
She
thing.
married me. How the hell could she be a lesbian? I forced her into this. Okay, so that's where Vanya's at. Vanya, she goes and picks up. It's not really important. She goes to pick up Carl from Jack Ruby's club.
Right. It does come into play later, though.
Yeah, because she spots Luther.
she spots Luther, and then Luther actually ends up and finds Carl's wallet on the ground
Yeah.
because he dropped it. But that comes into play later on.
The handler gets demoted
She does.
because she's been out for a while. Because I guess getting shot in the head is a big no-no to the commission.
Well,
They don't like
luckily-
it.
Yeah, luckily she got that metal plate in her head from Shanghai.
Shanghai, the Shanghai job.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she still survives, but she gets demoted. She's not in charge anymore. She gets a desk job.
She does.
She does not like that.
No,
Remember
she
she
doesn't.
throws the ruler and cuts the guy's ear.
Well, it was the nameplate of 5.
Yeah, the nameplate.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah. So all that shit goes down. Ray gets arrested. That's Allison's husband.
Unfairly, of course.
Of course, because arrested while being black
Right.
was the charge. I think.
Well, and they didn't even charge him either. They held all those guys in jail
for nothing.
without
Yeah, exactly.
charging them.
And and they watch the film that Hazel gave them, and it's 5 and they meet 5 meets Elliot, and Elliot lived on the apartment.
I love this guy.
He lived on an apartment
Yeah.
where they all came back, so he's took
he's
pictures
like taking
all, but
pictures
he's like
the whole time.
This early on conspiracy theorist where he thinks everything
Roswell.
is Roswell, aliens, CIA,
Roswell, yeah.
everyone, yeah. So they meet him. He actually plays a huge part in this.
He
They
does.
live in his apartment for most of the time and just pretty much push him around.
Yeah. And tie him up
Yeah, the entire
and
time.
gag him and just do a bunch of terrible things.
But they watch this film, and on the film, it's it's like the
the assassination.
assassination.
Of JFK.
But they see, who do they see?
oh,
the
someone
umbrella
holding
man,
an umbrella.
who
Oh.
is in it. It's Reginald
course,
Hargreaves.
their father.
He's there everywhere, of course. Pulling the strings.
Always.
They kind of all freak out about this, Elliot including, because he's seeing Kennedy get assassinated. So it's a big of a shock for him.
Yeah, if you're not ready for that.
Yeah. While this happens, Klaus and Ray are both jailed together. Klaus gets out and eventually gets Ray out as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember why Klaus just gets arrested for trying to steal a truck, doesn't he? And while this is all happening, Luther comes to Sissy's farm. There were Vanya. She apologizes to Vanya, and Vanya's like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't
and Luther-
remember anything.
That scene was kind of odd, too, because, he was apologizing to her, but he was also hand on the trigger kind of thing with the gun in his back.
I know.
So I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if he was going to kill Vanya
is he ever
until
gonna-
he found out she had amnesia. And then he's like, all right, Let bygones be bygones.
And you just think like a simple apology, even if she remembered, would have been good enough. But Luther just is very ahead of killing Vanya.
He is.
He was the first person to trap her down in the storage locker or whatever that was. And now he's just ready to fucking pop her, dude.
Well, I think he lives by that motto, shoot first, ask questions.
How about this, Luther? Maybe the cure here is just to be a good brother.
Yeah.
Maybe you
show your sister a little love, a little compassion.
But you don't have to go through these insane fucking loops to save the world. Just show her you love her.
Try not to be too much like your father, Reginald.
Yeah, exactly. But of course, not the case. Because you wouldn't have a TV show.
You wouldn't.
So,
You gotta have conflict.
But Vanya kind of figures what happens, and she's like, "Yeah, we're cool. Again, I don't remember any of this shit. Don't even remember that you're my brother."
But I mean,
cool.
I'm just going to take your word for it. Seem like an honest
You also
individual.
seem he's very scary looking guy, so Vanya's probably not going to argue with him.
Do you have a present behind your back? Why do you keep reaching
You also
in the
have
waistband?
a gorilla. You're half gorilla. Your body proportions don't make any sense.
No, they
It
don't.
looks like a 5-year-old.
Things
drew
are just
you.
not adding up here.
But so Diego and 5, at the end of this, they sneak into Reginald's company.
They do?
Whatever company, like
The
Shell
umbrella.
Corporation.
The umbrella company.
And Diego fights Reginald, who's like a badass.
Oh, dude. And I like this scene, too. It was pretty fun.
I love this,
It
yeah.
was fun. The choreography looked great, and I thought, like, even the lighting and everything was really cool.
Well, yeah, and they were able to keep all these characters like fresh with introducing them like new ideas. Like Reginald, he's very different from what he is in the last season.
The first
'cause
season,
it's 40 years later, so he's very different and all the characters. For one, all the brothers and sisters, they're all growing in different ways. But then you see all these old characters like Pogo.
Yeah. But Pogo is a baby.
Pogo's just a baby in this
Pogo.
one, and he's not
so cute.
he's not super smart yet.
No, he's not.
Kind of
he's
a
kind
dick.
of vicious. Yeah.
Well, kind of like all
Same.
chimpanzees.
Right,
They're
I mean,
wild
just
animals.
wild, yeah.
So, yeah, but he is a little vicious. And those things will tear your fucking nuts off.
That's not the only thing they'll do. They'll tear your face off after they rip your nutsack off. It's a brutal situation.
But Diego ends up getting
Not wanna find yourself
stabbed
in.
by fucking by Reginald.
He does.
And
Because he's like, Dad?
And he
Reginald's like, huh?
He goes amateur.
Amateur,
Remember, as he
yeah.
fucking. What you got to know about
Which
Reginald
is
in this one
classic
is
Reginald.
he hates fucking kids.
He does.
Hates them. And, he'll stab anyone. He doesn't have a
Anyone.
problem. He does not have a problem getting his hands dirty, even though he's like in charge of this giant, the Majestic 12 that we'll get into later. But he's not afraid to get.
Conspiracy theorists have got to love that because that's a big thing.
So that's in episode 2. Episode 3, the Swedish job. Back at Elliot's, Lila and saves Diego from the stab boom. They also bang,
They do bang.
which is it was bound to happen.
Of course. You saw it right away. I mean, from the very first time they were introduced in that insane asylum, you knew.
Yep.
That was going to be his love interest. And not only that, but Diego's a little dim-witted. Can we all admit that? I mean, not the sharpest tool in the shed.
It just sucks 'cause-
5 sees this
Yeah.
chick immediately for who she is. But Diego's just like, I'm in love, brother. I'm in love.
And we know from the first season, Diego has a tough run at loving people.
He does.
Everyone,
and everyone he loves turns out to be
seems to
either
die or turn out to be bad.
an
yeah.
evil person. Yeah.
So not a great run from Diego, but I'm interested to see where his arc takes him.
You know
'Cause
what,
it
he-
really seems like he could end up being a bad guy at some point.
At some point, yeah, I agree. But you know what? One important thing about Diego is he does not give up on love.
No,
He is
which is by talking to him,
consistent.
he would never think that.
You would never know. But he's got a soft
He's
spot.
real
He's a little
romantic.
softy.
He's a real
Yeah,
romantic,
yeah.
absolutely, yeah. But yeah, so they have sex, they bang, do what you got to do. Vanya goes back to the cornfield, gets attacked by the Swedes, but she ends up blowing them up, using her powers.
Using
for
her
the first
powers,
time.
yeah.
Yeah,
She
exactly.
kind of realizes.
Yeah, so she realizes that she has, these fucking gifts because she blows out like a crop circle or whatever. So so she gets away.
Yep.
Vanya, and Luther goes to talk to Ray because he's still in love with fucking Allison, of course.
Of course.
And
Her use.
and the talk doesn't really go well because Luther ends up finding out that Allison is married. Mm-hmm. And it's weird.
It's
Even
a
for
weird-
Ray, he's like, you're her
Your
brother, right?
Why do you look upset?
What? Yeah, why are you so upset
Why
that
are you so
we're
sad?
that we're married?
Yeah.
Like, why every time I mention my wife, Allison, just
Do
one
shed a
tear,
tear.
just one tear,
Just one single
Are you a
tear.
pervert or something?
Yeah.
I don't understand what's happening. And it's very weird.
It's very awkward.
It's odd. It's awkward. And pretty much they just leave on not great terms. They just gotta be like,
he's like,
all
you want me
right,
to
I
leave
gotta
a message? He's like,
Yeah, eventually Ray's gotta go. I gotta go now. He's just some excuse to get the fuck out of there.
Well, and
'cause it's
Ray's
super awkward.
understandably, Ray, he's part of this civil rights movement too. So he's starting to wonder, like, who in the hell are all these random people, and they're being vague and not
that's very
telling me
true.
the full
Yeah.
truth. So he's starting to have his suspicions as well.
Absolutely, but for now, that doesn't get between Ray and Allison because
No, not
they
yet.
go into a sit-in, a white diner. They're gonna do that because they know in 5 days JFK is coming,
Yep.
or is it 3 days? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a couple days from
Sometimes,
now,
so they
but
know
they
it-
want the TV.
Exactly.
They want all the cameras.
It'd be
on.
good press if they did this now, knowing that JFK was going to come in.
Right.
So they do a sit-in. I don't know what you heard about sit-ins, but they've
Pretty
they
hostile.
usually
I'd say a hostile environment.
they usually end exactly the same way, where it's not the white people going, you know what,
You know what?
you guys are right.
You're human beings, just like everyone else.
We have been piece of shits
Right.
forever, and we're gonna stop right
And
now.
this has been brought to light here.
And without you guys doing this, we would have never even realized.
Right.
So yeah,
But instead,
they call it
Doesn't
the
that
white
happen?
cops.
Of course, the
which
white
were
cops
only
show up.
cops. Yeah, and they beat
start
him.
beating people for no reason,
Exactly, yeah.
arresting people for no reason.
But this makes Allison have to use her power that she hasn't used
She
since
does.
being brought back in time. Because what we see, she got brought back in time, which is it's like a Twilight Zone if you're
Oh, it
black
had
and you
to
wake
be,
up
yeah.
in 1960.
Yeah.
It's bad news because
like
she
the
immediately
Annabelle
gets harassed.
situation.
Yeah, she immediately gets harassed. But and then she ends up going into like this African American salon, and that's how she meets Ray and all these people. So that's happened, but she's never had to use her powers before. So she has to use them when this
Yeah,
cop
until-
is about to kill
Well,
Ray.
they bring Ray outside, and
Yeah,
this
they're gonna
cop
kill him.
is literally going to kill
They're
him.
gonna kill him.
He's beating him to a pulp.
Yeah.
And finally, she has no other choice but to use her power. And she had not used her powers since Vanya. That was a big storyline there too. She didn't ever want to use her powers again, but she had to save Ray's life. And she goes, "I heard a rumor that you were
would
going to
just walk
stalk
away or
and
something.
walk
Yeah.
away."
Yeah.
Yep.
Which instead of Ray being like, "Whoa, that was fucking awesome."
Yeah.
Like
He
that
seems
was
to be a little
super-
irritated.
Ray hates
Yeah. He's like,
He
"What are you
is,
doing?"
he
What's
wanted
up
that guy to fucking beat him to death.
Well, he also doesn't know either because, again, Ray's suspicions are growing.
Well, yeah,
at
it
this
does
point,
look. It does
and
look.
it doesn't. Yeah,
I
if
was
you-
mostly joking. It does look
Yeah,
weird.
it wouldn't jump immediately to, "Oh, you got superpowers. This is cool."
Well,
It's kind of like,
I don't know if I've
who
jumped
are you
to
working
anger.
for?
I don't know if I jumped to anger immediately. I would just be
No.
like, that was fucking weird. Like,
Yeah,
can you
very
just
weird.
explain anything? But it's TV, so he immediately just runs off.
Yeah, he does.
I can't listen to you, and he just takes off hands over his ears.
It's like, "I can't hear you." Just running away.
Wait, let me explain. And she can't.
She can't.
Actually, he does give her a little chance, but she's not willing to tell him the truth yet.
No, and it's
It's
like,
not going to make her look good.
I know it doesn't, but I mean, geez, Allison, give him something. The guy just wants to know what the hell just happened. I mean, could you imagine at 1 second you're getting beat, and then the other second the cops just literally just walks away? You got to be a little
I
confused.
just figured he had a change of heart.
He's like, you know what? On second thought,
You know what?
I'm an asshole.
I
I'm
already
actually a real piece of
delivered
shit.
9 blows,
Yeah.
but this 10th one, it's too much.
We got to cut it.
I gotta
off.
walk away,
I gotta
man.
walk- You know what? I'm gonna retire from the force. I'm,
This ain't right.
I'm not a good
I
person.
got a feeling this is going in a wrong direction that I just can't be a part of anymore. No, yeah, it does look weird. But Alice, I get it from both views. Because what's she gonna say? I got powers.
Yeah,
it's mental institution.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Especially during all the chaos too of other
Yeah.
people getting beat up, the chaos that's going on in the restaurant. So
So Ray runs away, confused and scared, and
Understandably.
just shaken by all this. And why this is happening? Klaus, of course, released from prison or jail, not prison. He finds Dave.
he does.
Dave
from the
and
Vietnam
again, I
War.
love. Again, this is probably my favorite arc of all this. He finds Dave from Vietnam War. Yeah, that he fell in love with.
and of course,
But this is years before the Vietnam War started.
yeah, and his uncle's kind of he's a real asshole, real piece of work. He's like,
Real
oh,
Nixon
he got
supporter.
pink.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that. They know he's gay immediately that he bought pink. That's the red flag. And yeah, but
To
he
be
finds.
fair,
I mean,
though, a lot of bathrooms were painted pink in the '60s.
yeah, Dave. Maybe he owns a fucking restaurant or something.
How do you
get off
we're
his
just jump to conclusions here, pal?
get off his back? But he actually is gay. So
He is,
the
yeah.
assumption, unfortunately, in this one was right.
Was right on. I mean, sometimes it pans out that way.
Sometimes you can read a book by its cover. Yeah, no, but this is a tough situation because well, for one, it doesn't make Klaus look good. He's yelling at this 15-year-old.
Yeah, and he doesn't even know what the hell's going on.
And he's yelling at him. And his Uncle Dave, who's, this farm steed, it's in Dallas in the 60s. He's got no clue what's going on.
And he's a rough and tough individual,
Yeah, and
men don't cry.
And he's already trying to convince, which is such a weird thing for your uncle to even say.
To try to convince you to go to war.
You gotta go to war.
Oh, trust me, you're gonna love war. It's awesome. There's nothing better than serving. There's nothing better than watching your friends die in front of you.
I couldn't even imagine my uncle sitting me down at lunch and being like, you gotta, if you haven't been to Iraq yet, the summers are beautiful.
I mean, they're a little hot, but
they are on
beautiful.
the touch on the warm side, but you gotta get down
You'll
there.
never feel more alive than when you're at
the
war.
Brotherhood that you will gain and then lose you can't put a price on it. But yeah, this ends with, unfortunately, Dave being convinced to hit Klaus.
Yeah.
Which is very sad, but
sad.
obviously Dave, he
doesn't
probably doesn't even know he's gay at this point.
Himself,
This crazy man runs in, starts yelling at me not to join the war.
Right.
He tells me he loves me. I would be frightened too.
Yeah.
That's how it ends with Dave, unfortunately.
It does.
Then we see Lila, who would have guessed it, double agent.
Oh, no.
Working for the handler, actually calls her mom.
Mom. Yes.
Which is really weird because in the next episode, episode 4, the Majestic 12, we get a little origins of Lila.
We do, which I liked. I actually was
I didn't think we were going to, I didn't think they were going to show anything about
I didn't know what was going on in that scene initially. I'm like, who are these people and why did the handler just kill them? And then I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. It just makes me think that there's obviously going to be even more to that, to why them going back. But we show that Lila's parents were murdered by the handler, and then she just kind of adopted her. She says, hey, you're mine now.
You got powers,
it's a finders keepers situation. Yeah. And so they kill the parents, and now that's how Lila started working for it. But she's kind of, at this point, you assume she's kind of brainwashed.
Yeah. In those training montages, I was like, this Lila
and you can tell the handler kind of doesn't give a shit about Lila.
No.
Because Lila's like, it's kind of dangerous. And then the handler's like, oh, you got to do what you got to do.
Hey, look, I could have killed you in that little room that you were hid in.
I had to make it convincing.
I did.
So that's pretty much what Lila. But Lila is told by the handler to protect 5
at all costs.
At all cost. That puts a kind of
a damper on the whole Diego situation.
Exactly.
Because we don't know if Lila actually has feelings or not, but doesn't seem to be the case.
And then Vanya returns to the farm because she finds out that she was the one who blew up the planet and whatnot. Now she's like, well, this is a lot to take in. A day ago, I didn't even know I had family. Mm-hmm. Now I got 5 family members.
Found out that I caused the apocalypse.
And got sent back in time. It's a lot to take in.
It is a lot. Yeah.
So that's what's going on with her. She's going back to the farm. Diego, Lila, and 5, they go to the gala. The gala, yep. That Reginald was invited to, just to try to find more answers and whatnot. And it's a small part, but Diego encounters Grace. Grace, yeah, but a really great human scene. Form. Yeah, which was an awesome scene. And I like that again. Like I feel like this is a fresh take character wise on literally everyone in the show, and I've only watched the first half because I'm trying to do it. How we same.
Do
I'm like
Tuesday.
Episode 6, I think.
But it's just like it is really awesome that they're kind of fresh. This year too, where even Grace is a completely new character.
Yeah, and Reginald, who's always been robotic and kind of alien-like, you show that he actually had relationships with people. Yeah, he had a real relationship with Grace, and he had a real relationship with Pogo, who was actually like his son, real son.
Yeah.
He loved that fucking ape more than he
better than his children, which is just
so much more. So much better. Yeah, so much better. Man, yeah, that Pogo really got, and Pogo turned out fucking great.
He did.
So why did Reginald go, wow, Pogo turned out really good.
Yeah, the outline
I'm going to do the
children.
exact same thing I did with Pogo. And he for some reason, he swaps up the game plan.
Well, he said what works once might not work again, so let's just switch it up.
So that's where they go. They go to the gala, which is eventually attacked by the Swedish men. But this gala is kind of just a
cover for the 12.
For the Majestic 12, who are these? We don't know really yet, but I don't know if we're ever even going to really get into it. No, but it's like a shadow. It's like a combination of the Illuminati and all these other thing. They just say it's like shadow government, but it's the guys controlling everything. Mm-hmm. There's one guy who's always wearing Ray-Bans, so you know he's fucking sketchy.
He's sketchy, but
He's
ahead of
always
the times.
smoking. It's very cliche 1960s conspiracy. I love it. It's done very well. And we didn't talk about, but the soundtrack, fucking phenomenal.
The same as the first season.
Yeah, but I think they even up it. I think they have more music in this one than they did in the second one. They're playing Styx. They're playing all kinds of great fucking shit,
songs.
Great stuff. But yeah, so the gala gets broken up by the Swedes. You know, they're always there at the wrong time, and they fight Diego, and they fight Lila and
Lila
Klaus,
has an
or Five.
opportunity because both Five and Diego's got 2-on-1. Five has got 1-on-1, and Lila, Diego's yelling at her to help him. She goes and helps Five. And that's a big no-no.
Yeah, it's a red flag for sure.
It's a huge red flag. And then after the whole
If you're
situation,
Diego,
right?
But you know Diego.
Yeah, she's like, you're a grown man, act like one. It's like, well, you know, at the same time, I got two people.
He's like Batman, but not the world's greatest detective.
No, he's again
He's got all the physical traits of Batman, but not the smarts.
not the brains
at all. He's not connecting these things. And then because Lila has to save Five from the Swedes, Dio even says, like, what the fuck was that about?
Yep.
And she goes, oh, he's a kid. Well, not really. He's a
He's
time-traveling
actually
88
years old. Yeah.
Who is the deadliest one of any of them. The guy can teleport through time. If he was in trouble, he could have teleported down the hall. He would have been fine. Diego's not connecting this.
No, he
doesn't get it. But, yeah, so that's kind of broken up. And during this, the Majestic 12 think they're compromised, so they all leave. Yep. And also, Hargraves leaves with Grace. And that's pretty much how the gala ends.
Yep. But then we go to that. We go back to the barn with Vanya, and she's talking about her plan to, like, leave the farm, leave the life. And, of course, Harlan, which is Sissy's son, who has some form of disability,
I don't know what
away.
it is. He
I don't know
screams
either.
a lot.
Yeah, I don't know either. But he runs away, and then just, like, books it in the fields or something. And goes right to the lake. Like,
Right
just to, like, go for a swim. Yeah. I'm not going to.
I don't know. He goes
I thought that
straight
was
to
a
the
strange
bottom.
choice.
Yeah, he's going to do some deep diving today.
He's like, you know, my head feels a little bit more clear when I just submerge myself in water.
I go 30 feet deep, and Vanya immediately knows this kid must fucking love water. She immediately knows.
It
She
there
goes,
too.
"Oh, if fucking Harlan's gone, he's in the bottom of that goddamn lake."
And luckily for her, she was right.
She does a little kind of Moses thing, spread the water. No one sees this, unfortunately.
I know.
Just imagine some farmer out there. What the?
What in the tarnation?
This is wild. So, yeah, she kind of does Moses things, saves Harlan.
Yep.
But, and you know, Sissy, who's living on the farm with them, she's super happy about this. And nothing gets fucking housewives hornier
than saving their children.
Than your goddamn mentally ill, challenged kid almost dying. Nothing wants to make you fuck. Like a near-death experience in the because Sissy,
sure enough,
oh, Harlan, you're fine. Go to bed.
Go to bed.
I got something I got to take care of because
she just rips all the buttons off of Vanya's shirt.
Is Harlan even okay? Does he have to go to the hospital?
They didn't seem to care. They didn't seem to mind. They go, hey, you're
maybe
good?
Is there some kind of permanent damage?
I was going to say, it seemed like he was unconscious.
He was underwater for like 8 minutes. He was. I mean, there might be some
quick doctor checkup.
Some serious problems going on.
Oh God!
No, they gotta fuck.
They do.
They gotta fuck now, and they do.
That's primal. It's instincts, man. You can't fight instincts.
I think I'd be so concerned about my kid.
Your kid first off, yeah.
That I would just be fucking. It'd be a real mood killer.
Yep. Well, not to this.
Not to Sissy though. No, because they do. They
Sissy
get into
hasn't had a good fucking in a while.
That's true. And nothing's going to stop that. No. I mean, little Harlan, he might drown every goddamn Tuesday. It might be just another day for
another
him.
week.
Yeah. So, of course, they get together very respectfully, of course. But,
not the way we were describing
not
it.
at all. And that's pretty much how it ends. Luther accidentally reveals to Elliot why they're high on nitrous.
Mm-hmm. Which that scene was pretty
classic,
funny, too.
Yeah. There's always a Luther getting fucked up scene, which is always like...
You got to feel for the guy to some extent.
The rave scene was good, and then him getting fucked up on nitrous was good too. Yeah, that guy. It goes to show you, you know, that raising your kids really shitty they'll all end up drug addicts.
Of course,
because Luther, he's hitting that sauce.
Yes, he is
hard every chance he gets. Elliot was like, I don't even know why Elliot had nitrous to begin with.
Because his dad was a dentist.
Oh, yeah.
Remember,
But
and he left
still,
him.
that's
I know.
no reason.
How much nitrous did he give
Hey,
you?
Dad, you mind if I take
Hey,
one of the
before you
nitrous?
die, can you write it in your will to give me those 11 cans of nitrous?
Make that very clear in your will that I get the nitrous, Dad. No one else. It's
Yeah,
very
no one
important
else.
to me. But yeah,
That
he's
stuff
like,
is fun, though.
oh,
You
absolutely.
ever go to a
absolutely.
dentist, that laughing gas? It's the best shit ever.
Oh, yeah.
Ever.
And if it's you're just even at a party, it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a cool time. Elliot's like, you want to take a fucking you want to take
Nitrous
it? I see you looking at it. Yeah, because Elliot's he's a little off too, and it doesn't take much to get him on a nitrous bender.
No, it doesn't.
So, but during this bender, Luther kind of jokingly he goes, "Yeah, the world's gonna end."
In 7 days.
And that is not why you want to hear
While you're
on the nitrous high.
Yeah. At least he wasn't on shrooms or something.
You're
That'd
gonna have
be
a
even
bad
worse.
trip.
Yeah,
You're gonna
real
have a
bad
bad
trip.
So that's in episode 4. Episode 5, last one, Valhalla. This episode begins with Sissy and Vanya
Right.
hooking up. We already know that.
Yeah, we
happened.
know that. Oh, we know.
Oh, episode 5 is I wrote in my notes. We had to make sure Pogo origin story.
Great.
Very sad.
Very sad and poetic because Luther went through a similar situation.
We find out that Grace was like this kind of Jane Goodall type character. She was like a ape specialist, and Pogo came to her and they trained her. Reginald's always in the back of the room, kind of just checking things out. Yeah, no, just kind of being a weird guy, but he's a little happy too.
He
know,
is. I mean, he's got his family. It's a weird family, but
it's
he's
a
got
weird
it.
family, but it is the family. It's the unit, and they're training the ape, the chimp, Pogo. He's very intelligent.
Yes,
for a
he is.
chimpanzee. So what do they do with chimpanzees in the 60s that are above average?
Send them
that
to space.
Fucking monkey to the moon. That guy's got to go.
He does. If he can realize what a triangle, a circle, and a square is, we'll just have him run
He's
the
got
operations. on the
exactly
ship.
what we want out of every
Yes.
astronaut.
He's 3-dimensional.
Exactly. So they send him up.
Yep.
Bad news. I don't know
Doesn't go
what
well.
you heard about the rockets in the 60s.
Well, not a lot of them made it.
until
That's what I've heard.
69,
Yeah.
they weren't a lot of
Survivors.
So they send the Pogo up, and of course he fucking blows up instantly.
Right. I mean, the Russians sent up that Apollo dog. He never came back.
Yeah, Lakia.
Yeah. Sad.
We don't know he's
still
dead.
up there.
We don't know.
Xenu could have got him.
I'd rather us not know. I'd rather them not come
It's
down.
an open-ended story, so you just don't know how that one ended.
In my mind, he's cruising the fucking asteroids
Hell
right
yeah.
now. Just
They got to
doing
write a
in
comic
space.
book
Yeah,
about
dog
him.
in space.
Dog adventures.
But they send him up. He blows up. Luckily, he wasn't disintegrated like most things are when they re-enter. But he's just kind of badly burnt, and they give him they say it's gorilla DNA with Luther. So now is Pogo half ape, half gorilla?
Half human.
Yeah.
I think it's like human DNA, isn't it? I don't know. I didn't get that. I was
no,
like,
it's definitely-
Isn't that the stuff that makes him smart?
Well, yeah.
To where he can talk
But
and
that's
whatnot?
what I thought. It was the same stuff that they give Luther, but it was gorilla DNA they give Luther.
Yeah.
Because at
So I
some
think
point,
they
5
gave-
goes, maybe the gorilla DNA is getting to your head.
Yeah, maybe it's interchangeable. I don't know.
This is human DNA they're injecting in them?
That's what I'm thinking, because that's how he got so smart
I guess
and
so,
like able
yeah.
to have speech and whatnot.
But why didn't they just inject Luther with more
With
human?
more human
just make him extra human.
It's like, you know what? On second thought, let's make you strong.
Second thought, we used all the human DNA on Pogo.
We did.
We, in hindsight, used the monkey DNA on Pogo and the human DNA on Luther.
But we kind of screwed up. on that
2020.
one. Yeah. We just
So they
weren't thinking
did,
ahead.
yeah. But it is a cool thing because it kind of shows the evolution of Pogo, but his eyes change, from that ape to very human looking
Yes,
eye. It's a cool scene.
It is
for
a
sure.
cool transition.
But yeah, that's the birth of Pogo,
Yeah.
And then we show them that they kind of raise Pogo as their own, like mother and
Mother and father.
yeah, because Reginald's reading him the Iliad and shit like that. I'm sure Reginald never read to
Any of his other
any of the
seven
other
children?
academy.
No.
Yeah. So that's a nice scene. I like that a lot. But why that happened years ago or whatnot, Diego. This is Valhalla. So at Elliot's house, Luther tells 5 and Diego that when he first arrived at Dallas, he went to the academy, right?
Yep.
And this was a brutal scene.
It was a strange scene. I don't know why
At first,
you
you're
would have
thinking
thought this was going to
Reginald.
work.
At first, you're
Luther.
thinking Reginald's all hip, 60s.
Yeah, he's cool. Everyone wants to talk to him. He's charismatic.
Well, he's constantly having a party
Of
at his
course,
house,
yeah.
like
Like a
people
Hugh
are coming,
Hefner
people,
kind of
exactly.
thing?
People are coming in and out constantly. He's getting drunk. He's expressing these wild kind of poetic thoughts.
Ideas, yeah.
You think he'd be open to the idea that a time traveling son came back, but no, he fucking
Shuts that shit
he
down
says
immediately.
you can't be my son. For one, you're ugly as hell.
For two, you're not well groomed.
You're half ape, man. Do I look like I would fucking ape?
And third, you smell.
Well,
Plain and simple.
Third,
I
he
mean,
goes.
the third is the simplest
I
one.
fucking hate
Children.
kids.
He
I
hates them.
hate them, children. He said, "Take a look around, you dumb fucking idiot.
You see
Look,
one damn
see
child
one
here?
kid around here.
This
you
is 21
moron."
plus here, pal.
He said, "Get out of my house, and you never, ever come back." It's a brutal, a simple no.
He goes, but I took a bus all the way here. He goes, I don't care if you took a bus here.
I don't care if you flew in on a fucking rocket. Get the hell out of here. So that all went down, and that's pretty much how Luther got it going at Jack Ruby's, because he was just desperate. And now he doesn't even care. This is the arc of Luther. He went from being that patriotic kind of Boy Scout character to just not giving a fuck at all. I mean, and then working for Jack Ruby, which is...
Well, you tend to quit giving a fuck when you work for a gangster.
For Jack Ruby, absolutely. So, but the trio, they regroup. All the Academy regroups in Elliot's apartment because they're all kind of living there at this time. Elliot has no say in this.
No, no, not at all. I mean, if he does, he's getting tied up and gagged.
Exactly. But they're all talking about, and they're all saying that they all showed up, and they think right now to save the Earth, they have to save JFK. Yep. Which is, it's a classic.
Strange plan, though.
It's a classic trope.
You figure if you want the world to go back to normal, those events would have to happen. You're changing the course of history forever.
I know.
So, it's the butterfly effect, right?
I guess, but I don't know. Yeah,
Science isn't great.
What
it's
happens?
Not supposed to be great.
Well, yeah, in time travel, you can't get into it.
You can't
for TV
because
shows.
it doesn't. Yeah,
because what if technically they save JFK, then Hargreaves probably never has a reason to adopt the kids.
Yeah.
So he never has those kids in the first place.
Right.
So it's a sticky situation. It's why most people try not to get into the time
specifics
travel.
of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they're gonna save JFK, and they're gonna all regroup and do this. Meanwhile, Lila tricks 5 into meeting with the handler again, because 5 said earlier, "If I see you again, I'm gonna
kill you."
Even though she saved his life.
Yeah, but he sees right through her.
Yeah,
he knows something's up. He's been around for a long time. He knows a bad cookie, a bad apple. When
he's fucking 90.
Right.
But yeah. Oh, and when the Swedes dies, and I forgot they give him like a Viking death, even though it's only his thumb left or something.
It was the bottom of his foot. Yeah, he was still standing there. But the rest of him was incinerated, gone.
Yeah,
completely.
so they give him like a quick. I guess they just go out and find the lake real fast and set up a canoe and all that. It doesn't show that, but I guess it's a quick Viking funeral. But it is funny. It is funny. But now there's only 2 Swedes.
There is.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Because they're so. You feel like they're probably pretty close.
Right.
They're identical. They're almost clones. So they're mourning the brother's death, and Vanya leaves the farm, the Cooper family. But after she catches Sissy sleeping with Carl, which shouldn't be that big of a surprise.
Yeah, surprise! I'm still having sex with my husband.
Oh, you're not going to leave your husband and
For me
son
in the
1963?
Because that'll go over so well with the general public.
Yeah, they'll hang you.
Yeah.
And then send you to a mental institution.
Right? Well, it'll get real dark.
So that's happening. So Vanya's upset, and no one likes when Vanya's upset because the moon tends to explode.
Well, yeah, shit goes down.
But while this is all going down, the last thing we see in episode 5 is Luther and Diego being invited to a light supper at Reginald's.
Wow.
Yeah.
The man himself.
Oh, and we also see Klaus returns to his cult because they're all have like ties they have to like sever before they go and do this. So Alice goes and tells Ray everything. Yep. Klaus goes and tells his cult everything, I guess.
Yep.
And that's pretty much how it ends. But Diego and Luther are going to go have a light supper with Reginald. So how's that going to go?
I don't know. I am excited to jump into part 2 because I have yet to watch 6 through 10.
I know. I really don't know where it's going to go. How's Reginald? Because at first he denied everything.
He did.
Now is he going to accept? I think he knows.
I think he knows too. There's something about his demeanor.
I still think he's an alien.
He very well could be.
Because I think that time, when he saved Pogo and then she turned around and like Grace hugged him, you could tell it was like something new to him almost. almost.
Yeah.
Like he's never had like a human interaction or something. So I don't know. I still think there's something not right with him.
Yeah,
obviously.
there isn't. Reginald's an odd cookie.
He's that, or he's like another time traveler or something, or he's gonna end up being 5. Yeah, 5 in real life. He came back to. That's really him. He adopted himself.
That's incredible.
It's a mind fuck.
There's a
It's
lot of
real
theories here,
Inception
brewing.
kind of. Yeah. But it could definitely end up being something like that. Although we already know what 5 looks like as an old man, and he doesn't look anything like Reginald.
So that could be problematic.
Yeah, there's plastic surgery.
There is.
That's always the excuse of something. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I got for episode 1 through 5.
Well, we really like this show when we go about 20 minutes over what we normally do.
Yeah, we did go long.
We did
go long.
But this show's great. We had a lot to get into and recap. So
absolutely.
That is our recap for The Umbrella Academy, episodes 1 through 5, season 2, part 1 of our 2-part series here. So stay tuned for next week as we get into the last half of season 2 of The Umbrella Academy on Netflix.
The finale.
If you guys are watching on YouTube, please be sure to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. Podcast, audio format, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher, social media pages, Twitter, Seen It Podcast. Cash is on Twitter. That's Just Cash. Instagram, Have You Seen It? Facebook, Have You Seen It Podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Kraus. And until next time.
Bye.